Hey, this is Matt Marchant of the Marchant Training Method, back with another deadlift supplemental exercise for your core. We are going to go through a plank with a sandbag on your back. But we're not just using any sandbag. We are using the Bulgarian Training Bag. You'll see, if you haven't seen already, what this looks like. It has this crescent shape and it fits real nicely over the back when you go into a plank, and I like them for many more reasons than just doing a weighted plank. But before we get into the plank, there is something very important you need to know about the plank. When we get into the plank, that's elbows and toes, we are going to go into hollow body position with the lower back. If you don't know what hollow body position is, now's the chance for you to learn it, to see it. If you do, well, you already know it, but you might learn some new things. So let's go take a look. First, let's go into what hollow body position is. So, easiest way to start into it, go on your back. You're going to take your hands together, okay? Reach your hands through your knees. Tuck your chin on your chest, roll your shoulders up like so. So now in this position, your lower back should be pushed against the floor as hard as you can. There should be no space in your lower back. Okay, when I'm working with clients, sometimes I'll slide my hand in on the lower back and have them push their lower back into my hand. Okay, so when you're doing this by yourself, you're going to want to be on a mat when you go into your plank. So the mat that you're on, just push your lower back into the mat. So now I've tucked my chin, my shoulders are rolled forward, I'm rolling. Okay, I'm in hollow body position right now. Now to make it harder, I slowly move my feet out. If I can get all the way out, legs extended, toes pointed, hands still reaching forward with my lower back pushing down, now I'm into, I guess we would call it the full-on hollow body position, as opposed to, we'll say that's the not full-on version. But the point is that lower back must be pushing the floor. So basically what you're doing is with your lower back, you're tucking your tailbone and pushing your lower back. So if you've done any yoga, they call this the cat-cow or the angry cat, where you're tucking this position. That's your hollow body position. Right here like that. So we're going in that position when we go into the plank with the Bulgarian Training Bag. When you're in that plank position and you're tucking the hips into your hollow body position, you must do a few things. Or the time you spend doing this is, well, I wouldn't say completely a waste, but it's, let's say, pretty much a waste. Is there a difference? So what you need to do when you tuck your tailbone, you must squeeze your rear end. This has to be super tight. You need to take your belly button, the TVA, you must pull that in tight. You must also lift the pelvic floor. If you're not sure what the pelvic floor is, think about having to use the restroom. Whether you got to go number 1 or number 2, if you have to hold it, which muscles would you tighten to stop yourself from urinating or defecating? That is your pelvic floor. It's a hammock. It lifts, think lifting like a hammock. It's the shape of a hammock. It's not actually a hammock. You can't hang out in it. You can try. So that hollow body position is essential before you get into plank. If you do not know how to do hollow body position, getting into a plank, even with your own body weight, is a waste of time. You're going to be out of alignment. You're not going to be doing it correctly. So if you're not doing the plank correctly, it would only make sense that to do a weighted plank would be even more silly, right? So, that being said, now let's get into the actual exercise that is going to help your deadlift by really increasing your core strength. So, we're using the 50-pound Bulgarian Training Bag. Weight is up to you. There's 5 different sizes. We're going to use the 50-pound one. So, when I'm using the heavy one, here's how I get into it. I actually start on my stomach. It's way too hard to try to flip this thing onto my back. I've tried it. It takes forever. So you just start by flipping it onto your stomach. You get it right about where your belly button is. So from here, I roll underneath it. I'm going to keep the bag right around L3. If you don't know what L3 or where L3 is, think of if your belly button were to come out of your back, that's right about where L3 would be, and that's where we want to keep the weight. Okay, so from here, got my stopwatch ready. If I'm going to time it, I want to keep elbows on a mat or something soft. That's just my take on it. But I want to keep my feet on the floor. I do not want my feet on a mat that moves or that can kind of slide. I've tried that, just doesn't work for me. So now that I got this Bulgarian training bag, if you see it kind of curves around my body, which stays a lot better. I keep my elbows directly under my shoulders. I'm not in too tight and I'm not out too far. Feet together makes it a lot harder. You're going to go up on the ball of your feet. You're going in position. I'm tucking my tailbone. My rear end is tight. My quads are tight. Belly button tight. Pelvic floor tight. And I'm looking straight down to my hands. Okay? You can hold that when you're done. You just flip it off. So, you can hold that as long as you need. I did that for today's workout for 60 seconds, but whatever you need for that. So, a couple things with the breathing. We're working on our deadlift with this position, but because we're holding it for a length of time, we're breathing. So if you do hold your breath doing a deadlift, you're obviously not going to try to hold your breath for 60 seconds doing that. You're breathing. Here's how I would suggest breathing so that you're able to keep your belly button tight. I won't go through it too much, but a couple things. You want to try to breathe in and out of the nose. If you can, try not to breathe out of the mouth. You want to stay just as, I would say, as calm as you can, but as tight as you can. Take your tongue, gently rest it on the roof of your mouth. This is going to help keep everything in line, eyes down, chin a little tucked. Okay? If you're having a hard time doing that, keeping everything in tight, just breathing, short breaths, you can do what's called the hiss breath. Okay? You're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. It sounds like a little hiss, like air coming out of a bicycle tire. That will help you keep the abdominals tight. What you don't want to do is long, deep breaths, like that. Now the belly's starting to move. So when you're working the core, you want to keep a lot of tension on the belly. Okay? So that's just a kind of a brief thing about breathing. It's just a very short inhalation, very short exhalation. If you can do nose breathing only, great. If you're having a hard time, then you can switch to the hiss breath, but you do not want to let off tension of your TVA. And you still want to keep tension of the quads and the glutes. So there it is. There's the exercise. Give it a try. Grab yourself a Bulgarian training bag. It's a great tool. It's not just for this. There's a lot of other things, but we don't have time for that. So, supplemental exercise, weighted plank, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Try it out. Put a comment down there. How did it work for you? What do you think? Or if you have some ideas on other things, please let me know, let us know, so we all can work on our strength together. Good luck with your deadlift, and we'll talk to you next time.